This is your Global Investors News Weekly recap for the week of November 11th, 2019. Poor oil quality found in Guyana causes a drastic drop in Tullow stock. It's the largest drop Tullow Oil has seen in 21 years. Shares dropped as much as 23% after oil found in Guyana, one of Tullow's latest investments, showed to have high sulfur content. Heavier oil is harder to produce and takes more energy to extract and transport, but Tullow officials remain confident of the potential that still exists in Guyana. The first initial public offering of Aramco, the largest IPO in history, could have a major impact on OPEC. Analysts predict that shareholders will not be happy if Aramco's production volumes are determined by the oil cartel's members. But if Aramco does not comply with OPEC, it could render the cartel powerless. Saudi officials deny that OPEC is being threatened. Shareholders and investors need to be aware of this major issue before investing in the company. On Sunday, the president of Iran made national headlines when he announced the discovery of a massive new oil field containing more than 50 billion barrels of oil, a find that would increase the country's oil reserves by a third. But now Iranian officials are backpedaling and saying that they may only be able to recover 2.2 billion barrels from that 50 billion barrel find. Some analysts say the president used the announcement of the new discovery for publicity in a desperate ploy to show Iranians that U.S. sanctions are not impacting Iran's oil industry. The new oil is also a heavy variety which would be difficult for Iran to extract and produce without outside help. Finding help would be difficult for them since no one else wants to be cut off from the U.S. financial system or slapped with sanctions. So, their new oil discovery will unlikely change the dire conditions of Iran's oil production and exports anytime soon. Over the weekend, Bolivia's President Evo Morales announced his resignation after being forced out in a coup. The hydrocarbons minister also resigned. The political crisis has forced major oil companies such as Royal Dutch Shell, Total SA, and Repsol SA to either stop drilling exploration gas wells or slow down drilling in Bolivia. Bolivia, being without a leader of the country or of the oil and gas sector, has made foreign oil and gas companies very nervous. Plans are moving forward to start oil and gas drilling near popular California parks. Land that borders California's national parks Yosemite and Sequoia could be home to new oil and gas drilling areas. 200 to 400 wells will likely be developed in the area. Roughly 10% of those would be fracking wells. Environmental organizations are concerned about increased air pollution, water contamination, and threats to the ecosystem in the area and will continue to fight against the new oil and gas wells. And the latest inventions could tap into human-generated electricity. It all started with a bicycle and a car battery. During the Yugoslav wars and no power in the city, the only way to get power was to pedal for it by spinning a custom-rigged bicycle hooked up to a car battery. Well, decades later, that invention led to dance floors that could generate their own electricity simply through human movement on the floor. The electricity-generating dance floors could power the club's lighting and DJ booths, as well as a side benefit, also reduce the club's emissions. Over the years, energy floors have evolved beyond clubs and can be used in all sorts of venues where there's human movement, including school playgrounds and high-traffic walkways. One idea currently being studied is roadways that could generate their own power, which could be used to operate streetlights. The potential for humans to serve as sources of energy is a growing obsession, and some believe it's the next generation's answer to power. For Global Investors News, I'm Lisa Burton-Quina.